Coming up on News 11, an update on Hurricane Helene. DirecTV buys competitor Dish for 20 nickels, and an 81-year-old woman just fell short of qualifying for Miss Universe. These stories and more, News 11 starts right now. Good evening and welcome back to News 11. I'm Julia Skiba.
And I'm Ethan Smith.
We have a lot of exciting stories to cover, so let's get started with your local news. Last August, local high schooler Ray Dye competed at the International Geography Olympiad. The Fredonia High School student competed against more than 180 contestants, representing the U.S. with 4 other contestants. The other U.S. competitors were Gideon Ong from College Station, Texas, Daniel Meyer from Arlington, Virginia, and Julian Wong from New York City, with all 4 of them placing up in the top 30. 16-year-old Dye has been competing in geography for a substantial portion of his life, starting all the way back since 4th grade. He thanks Fredonia Middle School teacher Emily Klein for teaching him everything about the subject. Dye plans on competing in the International Olympiad again next year.
The Mount St. Mary Marching Band is making history as the only all-girls marching band in the state of New York. The marching band has 65 students, which equates to about 35% of the student population. This one-of-a-kind band has performed all over the country and beyond, including the Lewiston Peach Festival and Niagara Celtic Heritage Festival. Over the past 22 years, the band has become a strong community that members take pride in. It has brought members of the school together, creating a place for students to bond and make music with a supportive community. This year, the band contains baton twirlers, a dance team, color guard, and a full instrumental band. The MSM band is currently preparing to perform in their Christmas concert in November, and then in the Scottish Tartan Day Parade in New York City in April. For any middle schoolers interested in joining the MSM band, Mount St. Mary Academy has an open house on Sunday, October 6th from 9:30 a.m. to noon, and then again on Monday, October 7th from 5 to 7 p.m.
This past Saturday, Buffalo State University announced that 2 individuals fired guns earlier that morning. Officials say that at 1:56 a.m., quote, 2 individuals chased 2 other people in a lot near Reese Street and discharged firearms, end quote. The 2 individuals being chased fled to campus, while the other 2 suspects fled in a vehicle. No injuries were reported. This incident remains under investigation by university police, who had officers patrolling the area for the remainder of the weekend. University police are asking anyone with information to call them at 716-878-6333 or the UPD anonymous tip line at 716-6873-3166.
The annual mammogram event in Buffalo is back again this year. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and NewsSpore is partnering with Roswell Park in downtown Buffalo and Breast Care of Western New York. Mammothon aims to have at least 525 patients to sign up to get a mammogram. They want to teach about the importance of early detection and aiding in the fight against breast cancer. It is recommended that women talk to their primary doctor about risk factors for cancer at age 25, and when necessary, begin screening before age 40. Last year, 500 women participated, so the goal was raised. To schedule an appointment before this Friday, October 4th, go to roswellpark.org/mammography.
Panama Rocks annual foliage festival has returned. The festival will take place October 5th and 6th, and a Halloween costume contest will take place both days. There are many different demonstrations taking place this year, some of which include chainsaw carving, glass-blowing quilting, and blacksmith. Food vendors will also be in attendance selling various kinds of snacks. Gate admission is free for most activities, and parking will cost $5. In addition, the arts and crafts and live music are free. Guests will be able to take a ride in an hour-drawn carriage, get their face painted, or participate in carnival-style axe throwing. For more information, you can visit PanamaRocks.com.
This past Sunday, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump held a rally in Erie, Pennsylvania. This marks his fourth rally in the state of Pennsylvania this month and appears to be his most hotly contested state. This particular rally seemed to be targeted towards undocumented immigrants. During his nearly 2-hour address, he called some categories of immigrants, quote, vicious, end quote, more than 10 times. He then went on to describe several violent incidents. Trump believes that immigration is an issue that wins campaigns, and he has said that at times that he believes immigration weighs on voters' minds more than any other major topics, such as the economy. Notably, the former president did not repeat his claims that Haitian immigrants have eaten household pets in Springfield, Ohio. The speech wasn't full of new policy details, and it can be assumed that his purpose for this rally was to drive core supporters to vote rather than win over the middle-of-the-road voters. He is set to hold another rally in western Pennsylvania on October 5th.
Mayor Byron Brown has announced that he will be stepping down as mayor of Buffalo in the next couple of weeks. What's next for him? President and CEO of Western Regional Off-Track Betting, according to Brown. He has received opportunities in the past to take positions in the private sector and different levels of government, but always felt like the timing wasn't right. However, this offer comes at the right time for Mayor Brown. Buffalo Common Council President Chris Scallion will be taking over as acting mayor when Brown leaves office, and Brown has come forward and said that he didn't feel confident in who would be taking over. He wouldn't leave just yet. At Off-Track Betting, Brown was offered $295,000 a year with annual incentives in the second and third years. In order to be president, Brown needed a gaming license, which he received early Monday morning. The license expires on September 24th, 2025. Once Scallion steps into the role of acting mayor, council member Byron Ballman will become acting council president. There has been a bit of discrepancy over what will happen with Scallion's seat. Some members have been advocating for it to remain vacant, while others have proposed a resolution which would allow a new lawmaker to fill the seat until the next general election. This is all set to take place over the course of the coming weeks.
The Allentown community in Buffalo is reacting to the news that one of their favorite restaurants is being replaced with a healthcare facility. The building once home to the Town Restaurant will become Evergreen Health's newest location and home to a new pharmacy and dental practice, but not without some controversy. Community members are voicing their disappointment online after news of Evergreen's arrival in Allentown, as they were hoping for a new restaurant or another small business to take its place. The Chief Administrative Officer of Evergreen Health, Justin Azzarella, said, quote, "We're looking forward to meeting with those folks and talking with them and letting them know a bit more about who we are and making sure they understand that we are just looking to improve that neighborhood and the community," end quote. Even though news of the Town Restaurant's replacement came with some pushback, many Allentown residents are supportive and understand why the facility is being built. So far, there has been no confirmation as to when it will open.
This past Monday, 3 employees at the Niagara County manufacturing plant were hospitalized following a chemical spill. Around 100 gallons of chemical were spilled at the Sanborn Arkin Incorporated building at 3:20 a.m. The spill was contained to the building and was secured by fire crews. 2 of the 3 employees were taken to St. Mary's Hospital, and 1 was taken to Niagara Falls Memorial Medical Center for evaluation and precautionary decontamination. Authorities say 3 are no risk to the surrounding businesses and residencies, and the incident is still under investigation.
This past Thursday, WKBW's parent company, EW Scripps, initiated the quote, "If you give a child a book" campaign. This campaign provides books to low-income grade schools funded by the Scripps Howard Fund. This donation-based fund spends every dollar towards purchasing books to later be chosen by children at free scholastic book fairs. The Stanley Mikowski Early Childhood School, located in Buffalo, New York, will be receiving donated books to help local children in need. This initiative has distributed over 1 million books to students from kindergarten to 3rd grade. By donating books, this program aids to grow the students' literacy skills and increase their likelihood of academic prosperity, especially for those who live in poverty, opening doors for the children of today that ultimately will lead to a brighter tomorrow. If you are interested in supporting the cause, look up bookcampaign@scripps.com for more info and details on the campaign. And when we return, we will have your national stories. We'll be right back.
Tus Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
The path of Hurricane Helene has left a trail of widespread destruction and devastation. With hundreds of roads remaining closed, rescue crews are facing significant delays in reaching those who need help. Transportation of supplies has also become delayed, with mules and air support being used. Over 1.5 million people are still without power, and the death toll continues to rise as North Carolina is still facing at least 600 people unaccounted for. Currently, more than 1,000 people are in shelters, as 25 of them have opened in North Carolina. As more than 20,000 residents registered for assistance in North Carolina in need of food, water, and supplies in dealing with the cleanup. For more information on how you can help those in need, visit disasterassistance.gov.
A shelter-in-place advisory was extended for a county in Georgia on Monday after chlorine was found in the air due to a fire at the chemical lab that began the day before. The fire broke out on the roof of the biolab plant in Conyers, Rockdale County at 5 a.m. on Sunday. According to Rockdale County Fire Chief Marion McDaniel, a malfunctioning sprinkler had caused a mix with water-reactive chemicals. This release of chemical gas led to a recommendation for everyone in the county, with a population of about 93,500, to shelter in place until midnight. There was also mandatory evacuation orders for residents living close to the plant. On Monday afternoon, Georgia's Emergency Management Agency alerted residents that the Environmental Protection Agency was monitoring the air quality for chlorine and related compounds. They reassured everyone that the chemical levels are unlikely to harm most people. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, and it's unclear how many people in the area may have been exposed to chlorine.
It was announced on Monday that DirecTV would be buying its rival company Dish. In times of increasing customer use of streaming services such as Netflix, Hulu, and Max, both companies were struggling to retain subscribers. The companies have stated that the merge will enhance user experience by creating a more competitive force against streaming services. DirecTV bought Dish for 4 quarters in exchange for assuming Dish's billions of dollars in debt. The combined entity allows for more stability and the opportunity of increased revenue, to lower debt, and to keep shareholders. DirecTV will be supporting Dish in providing them a $10 billion loan. There have been rumors of this merge since 2014, when Dish chairman reached out to Direct CEO. There was a $19 billion merger proposal that was declined by the U.S. government on competitive grounds. The single-dollar merge is being more well received by customers and critics on account of these companies not having a monopoly on the entertainment market.
The man who was found hiding in a bush on the golf course of former President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to all counts involving the alleged assassination attempt. It was reported that Ryan Wesley Ruth had a clear shot at the 6th hole of the course. Prosecutors say Ruth had been stalking the former president for a month, leading up to day on the course. He faces five charges, including assassination attempt, assaulting of an officer, and gun charges. He claimed he understood the charges and pleaded not guilty on all counts. Ruth was spotted that day by a Secret Service agent who saw the barrel of his gun sticking out of the bush. The agent shot at Ruth, causing him to flee the scene, driving away, and being caught by authorities less than an hour later. Unlike the assassination attempt earlier in the year at a Pennsylvania rally, authorities have found sufficient information on Ruth and believe they have identified a motive. Some of the evidence, including a letter brought by a witness where he allegedly wrote that he did plan to assassinate Trump and failed. Ruth's case has been randomly assigned to Judge Eileen Cannon, the federal judge who dismissed the Donald Trump classified document mishandling case.
The head of the National Transportation Safety Board, known as NTSB, has expressed their concern with the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, and the agency not taking the safety of jammed flight controls on some Boeing 737 seriously enough. And NTSB Chair Jennifer Hamady wrote to the FAA administration about how the pilots of a United Airlines Boeing 737 failed to act when they reported their rudder pedals became stuck when trying to land back in February. The NTSB issued a, quote, urgent safety warning, end quote, on some of the 737s in regards to their rudder pedals, as well as 2 fatal crashes due to a door plug blowout in January. The United Airlines states their rudder metals in question have been since removed, but Hamady expressed disappointment in the FAA for not taking urgent action and expressing these safety issues to other airlines with Boeing 737s. The FAA made a statement addressing the safety issue, saying that they will be notifying airlines internationally and will do more. Simulator testing, thanks to the NTSB for their recommendations and taking the safety issues seriously.
The iPhone 16 pre-sales have not been as high as Apple had planned. Apple has been experiencing low sales ever since they introduced 5G connectivity with the launch of the iPhone 12. To try and revive sales, Apple attempted to create an iPhone with lots of advanced AI features. However, the updates did not generate as much excitement as anticipated. Apple sold 37 units of iPhones within the first weekend, which is actually 12% lower than past iPhone pre-sales. Apple noticed that consumers were opting to pay for the less expensive model of the iPhone 16 than the more expensive model, which is typically unusual for Apple. Apple is trying to get creative with their next launch to try and bring their sales back up. And when we return, Matt joins us for the first time with our sports update, and we'll have Katie for your first look at weather. We'll be right back.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's gotta be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
No time, just sign on the line at the post office for Selective Service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time, just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service.
We are now joined by Matt, who will be giving us our weekly sports update. What's going on in sports, Matt?
Thanks, Jules. This past weekend was busy for Fredonia sports, so let's jump right into it. In news of men's cross country, 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores were among Fredonia State's top finishers at the Harry F. Anderson Invitational in Rochester. Freshman Stephen Halber was the Blue Devils' #1 runner with a personal best time of 26 minutes and 26.5 seconds for an 8,000-meter run. He finished 52nd overall out of 334 runners. Following Falber was senior Sembel Koshi, sophomore Quillen Shimp, freshman Lucas Peterson-Volts, and sophomore Aiden Van Amberg. The Blue Devils ranked 14th out of the 25 teams competing at the meet. Their next meet is this Saturday on the SUNY Fredonia campus. Moving on to men's soccer, the men's soccer team played SUNY Canton on September 27th. This is Fredonia's first matchup against Canton, and the Blue Devils came out on top, winning 7-0 over Canton. Goals were scored by Brian Taylor, who scored 2 in the game, Kaido McGee, Freddie Butler, Carson Teixeira, Kai Castelluccio, and Vinny DeBello. Goalkeeper Thomas McDonald had 2 saves in this contest. After this match, the Blue Devils' record now sits at 6-4-2. Following the game, Brian Taylor was named the SUNYAC Men's Soccer Offensive Athlete of the Week. This is the second time that Taylor has donned this title. The women's soccer team also played SUNY Canton this past Saturday. The women's team also had a huge win over Canton with a final score of 9-0. Kerrigan Driscoll scored her first collegiate goal in the game. And other notable moments came from Bronwyn Madden, who scored a hat trick, and Katie Sellers, who scored twice. Goalkeeper Abby Simkowiak had 4 saves in the contest. Fredonia's record now improves to 5-4-0. In other news, the women's volleyball team won a pair of games at its home match this past Saturday. The Blue Devils took down Penn State Barron 3-1 and won 3-0 against Houghton. Aaron Callahan led the team with 15 kills and a pair of blocks while facing Penn State Barron. Up against Houghton, Kylie O'Brien had 14 kills. The Blue Devils now hold a record of 7-11, and they will take on Plattsburgh this Friday and Potsdam on Saturday. Moving towards local sports, and perhaps in less exciting news, the Buffalo Bills fell 35-10 to the Baltimore Ravens this past Sunday night. The Ravens started the game strong with running back Derrick Henry scoring a touchdown early in the game. The Bills quickly retaliated with a 50-yard field goal from kicker Tyler Bass, but it wasn't enough. The Ravens went on to score 2 more touchdowns, although Bills running back Ty Johnson did score the only touchdown for the Bills in the third quarter. Baltimore quickly responded with 2 more touchdowns of their own. The Bills are back in action this Sunday, facing off against the Houston Texans in Houston. In exciting hockey news, the Buffalo Sabres played in their first Global Series game this past Friday. The Sabres faced off against the EHC Red Bull München Club in Munich, Germany, where they came out on top with a final score of 5-0. The game was completely sold out, and the Sabres saw goals from Tage Thompson, Sam Lafferty, Dylan Cousins, Jack Quinn, and Munich native JJ Peterka. The Sabres won't play again until this Friday, where their regular season will officially open against the New Jersey Devils in the 2024 NHL Global Series in Czechia, located in Prague. Should be an exciting start to the hockey season. Sabres, always a fun time when hockey season gets ready to go, whether it be on campus or for the Sabres.
Yeah. So have the Sabres started, how long does that season normally go for?
So it runs from the regular season will start in October, starts at the end of this week, and then April is when the regular season ends, which is to say when the Sabres season usually ends, because making the playoffs hasn't been too easy for them recently, Jules.
Well, hopefully we can push it out a little bit longer.
Fingers
we'll make
crossed,
it there
right?
in time. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. This was Matt's first time on News 11. We had a great time. Thank you for giving us our sports update.
Thanks for having me.
Now we're going to send it over to Katie, who is also new to News 11. We've got a lot of new anchors going on this semester, which we are very, very excited for. And this is Katie's first time on weather as well. So she is going to give us some of our weekend weather. Katie, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Jules. Today we are finally starting to see some of that nice fall weather, with some morning sun followed by cloudy skies. We have a high of 65 degrees dropping down to a 51 at night. Thursday will warm up a bit with a high of 73 degrees. It will be pretty humid throughout the day and into the night, so prepare to see some of that spooky October fog later in the night as it drops down to 56 degrees. And the weather is a little moody this weekend, so stay tuned for when I return. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Katie. I'm kind of excited for this fall weather. It's starting to actually feel like fall, which is crazy because
it's getting cooler outside.
October.
I know, right?
Yeah, but anyway, when we return, we are going to have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
This one's
And
for the
you're
real
amazing.
ballers and shot callers. The Sisterhood of Women in Tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles, watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an
to
effort.
get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father,
Cosplayer,
mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
The water in the Sydney Harbour in New South Wales, Australia may have looked a little different last Wednesday afternoon. The water turned a bright green color due to the spillage of fluorescent dye that was found to be non-toxic. This spill happened near the Careening Cove at Milson Park, Kirribilli, where one of the official homes of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese rests. Locals have reported a, quote, large spill of fluorescent green material, end quote, to the local authorities around 3 p.m. local time. Tests that were later conducted by the authorities found the substance to be a non-toxic and odorless chemical often used by plumbers to dye water in order to find leaks. The dye had come out on a storm drain in Kirribilli, but the exact location it entered the harbor remains unknown, since there are several access points to the stormwater systems. Superintendent Adam Dewberry has come out and said, quote, there have been no reports of marine damage or fish deaths, end quote. There is also no staining on boats within the harbor or along the shoreline. The authorities had flushed the drainage systems by 6:40 p.m. local time, which had cleared the green-colored water. Sydney is forecasted to receive about 10 millimeters of rain this week, which authorities are hoping will completely rid of the discoloration.
After over a century, the United Kingdom shuts down its last coal-based power plant. Radcliffe-on-Soar Power Station plans to shut down this coming Monday after converting coal into energy for over 140 years. Britain's Minister of Energy, Michael Shanks, stated, quote, the era of coal might be ending, but a new age of good energy jobs for our country is just beginning. For decades, coal energy has been the source of controversy with growing concerns over the changing climate. The first coal-powered energy plant opened in 1882 and was created by Thomas Edison. In 1990, 80% of Britain's energy was powered by coal, which turned to 39% in 2012 and is now at less than 1%. At the same time, renewable energy sources have been on the rise and make up more than half of UK's energy.
81-year-old Choi Soon-hwa fell just short of winning the bid to become Miss Universe this past week. The pageant was held on a Monday at a hotel in Seoul, Korea, where Choi performed in a singing competition. She might have missed out on the crown, but went home with the Best Dressed award. Choi spent her younger years working in hospital care, but then began modeling in the 70s. This year was the first year that Miss Universe abolished their age limit of 18 to 28 years old, giving Choi a real chance at the crown. The winner, Ariel, a 22-year-old fashion student, will be continuing on to Mexico City for the 73rd annual Miss Universe pageant in November. And after the break, a look at Dancing with the Stars, Coldplay, and Maggie Smith. We'll be right back.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
The award-winning British actress Maggie Smith passed away on September 27th at 89 years old, born in 1934 in Ilford, England. Smith grew up in Oxford, England, making her debut in local theater as a teenager. Smith went on to lead an incredible career, earning Oscars, Golden Globe Awards, Tonys, an Emmy, and more. Smith is well known for her wide array of roles in films such as Sister Act, Harry Potter, Downton Abbey, and more. In 1990, Smith was made a Dame of Commander of the Order of the British Empire. The legacy that Smith leaves behind is one to be remembered, with her memory being kept alive by the memorable performances and witty sense of humor that made her a celebrated icon. Smith's incredible talent and charisma will live on forever through her performances, and she will be deeply missed by all.
Dancing with the Stars partners Brooks Nader and Gleb Shevchenko were recently seen kissing while out together in Beverly Hills, confirming rumors that they were heating up more than just the dance floor. Though the two were constantly claiming they were just friends, it appears that may not be the case anymore. After leaving Wally's bar on September 28th, Brooks, 27, and Gleb, 41, stopped in the street to share a few kisses. The outing seemed casual as Brooks was dressed in cut-off shorts with a baseball hat, and they were only hanging out with a few of their friends. Since the premiere of the 33rd season, fans have been quick to speculate a possible romance brewing between the two. Both are recently single and seem to be having fun with each other in rehearsals. Their chemistry is undeniable. It comes as no surprise that their flirty nature has been taken outside the dance studio.
The award-winning band Coldplay announces another tour for their hit album Music of Spheres. This tour is primarily hosted in London's Wembley Stadium, which is known for hosting some of the largest concerts of the century. Previously, Taylor Swift has had the most concerts in Wembley Stadium, but Coldplay will be taking that title. The band will be playing 10 concerts in Wembley alone in the single tour. This coincides with frontman Chris Martin announcing that they will be retiring after 3 more albums. Martin expresses his desire for the band to finally get some rest, stating, quote, "To make an album great as a band, it's such a lot of wrangling a lot of people, and I want to give the others some of their lives for themselves," end quote. It seems that the world-renowned band is going out with a bang.
Wow, so many things ending or changing.
I know. Yeah, I was very shocked about Coldplay.
Right?
Retiring.
Coldplay? I feel like Coldplay has been the thing going on since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But to hear they're retiring, I mean Green Day's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
I mean Coldplay is the first to fall, but all the divorced dad rock from early 2000s, it's on a quick timer.
I know. But I feel like also doing 10 shows at one place
I would lose my mind, I think.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But are they selling out every 10 show?
I mean, you gotta
they
imagine.
must be if they're still doing 10.
If they book in 10 spots,
Yeah.
you better hope you're at least
Yeah.
getting 10 shows worth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
It's crazy though.
It is crazy to me, and I mean, I guess they're doing great. To me, the age that I find a band at is the age that they'll always be. I forget
Right.
that they're also aging too.
Yeah.
And
Chris
so
Martin's
that's why
60.
it was a shock to me when I found that out. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Now we're going to toss it to Katie one more time tonight for the end of the weekend weather. How's it look, Katie?
Thank you, Ethan. Starting off on Friday, it will be a pretty warm day with mostly sunny skies and a high of 74 dropping down to a low of 55. Saturday will be cool down going into the high 60s. The sun will start to go away as it will be partially cloudy throughout the day. We'll see a high of 68 degrees dipping down to a 54 degrees at night. Sunday will warm back up to 76 degrees, but we won't see much sun as there's a 53% chance of rain in the afternoon. We might see some possible thunderstorms following us into the night as it drops down to 54 degrees and the rain picks up to a 70% chance. And that's all I have for weather this week. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Katie.
Finally, some cool weather.
I know. I was thinking that.
I can
was
put a
thinking
second
that.
blanket on my bed. This
I
is
know.
so exciting.
It feels like fall finally. Well, anyway, we hope that you all enjoy the nice fall weather coming up this weekend. That does it for News 11. Thank you to our behind the scenes crew. We'll be back next week.
As always, thank you to everyone watching at home. Have a great night.